Hi, I'm Max.
Hi, and I'm Denise.
And welcome back to another edition of Urban Lifestyles. We've got another great show. We should almost call this a special edition because we're dealing with the COVID-19 epidemic. I'll take that back. Pandemic that's out
Yes.
there. And it has really changed the way that we see the world.
And we are trying to be good citizens and to be socially compliant.
You are correct. And speaking of the show that we have today, we're going to do a segment that we did with MSD. We also have a piece that's coming up about the 2020 census. Also, we reached out to our daughters who are down in the ATL, find out how they're getting along during this. And finally, we're going to check in with B96 and 101.3 to find out what's happening in the world of music. And of course, we're going to get you out on bikes. We'll take a quick break and back with more right after this.
We are mothers,
fathers,
neighbors, and friends.
Working hard when the weather is good.
and even harder when it's not.
With online updates to keep you safe and informed during the storm.
Programs to save you energy and money.
And new projects to help us provide cleaner, more reliable energy.
We are more than an energy company.
We are LG&E.
We're LG&E.
We are LG&E.
Our energies go to serving you.
Are you ready for the 2020 census?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I am too. And if you haven't received something in the mail or if someone hasn't come to your front door, take a look at this piece. If you don't have this in your calendar, you should, and that's the landmark date, which is April 1st, which is the kickoff of the 2020 census. I'm here with Danny Rogers, who works for the Census Bureau, and welcome to Urban Lifestyles, and tell me why this is so important in 2020.
It's extremely important because for the very first time we have the opportunity to do it online. So if anybody's like me and doesn't want people knocking on the door, you can do it online, by phone, and by mail. Starting the week of March 12th, you'll be receiving something in the mail with a passcode for your particular household. Household means everybody under the roof. Doesn't matter your relationship with them, but everybody under the roof. We want you to count how many people are there, especially kids under 5, so that we can make sure the over $675 billion given out every single year by the federal government gets down to your communities.
So when you're filling out that census information, does each person have to go on themselves and fill it out, or can one person do it for the household?
One person can do it for the whole household. They will ask, there are only 9 questions. If there is another person in the house, the 10th question will be, what is this person's relationship to the person who's writing this? And they just want to make sure that they have everybody in the household counted.
So what has the rollout been? Because here we are in the end of January, and we're talking about it. We're really trying to get the engagement up. So what would be a great turnout as it relates to the census? I know 100%, but what on an average?
Well, and the thing is, within each community, there are hard to count communities specifically. There's always going to be certain groups of people who are always going to do it because they know about it. Right. But there are other communities, especially immigrant refugee communities, communities of color, non-English speaking communities, seniors, LGBTQ community, kids under the age of 5, college students who don't really know how to do it. And so what we want specifically for those people who this may be their first time participating, is for them to understand, one, that it's safe. Nobody in any other department of the government can get this information and use it against them in any way. No law enforcement, ICE, Homeland Security, nobody can. Title 13 protects it, so for 72 years, nobody can see your name, your address, or any of those things. And so we want to make sure people know that it's safe so that when they do it, maybe for the very first time, they understand your information's safe. This is going to impact your community because without it, that money doesn't trickle down because we can't say that you as a community exist, right? So we want to make sure that even if we had 100% in other demographics, we want to make sure those hard to count communities turn out in 100% because it may be their first time doing it, and it's really that important.
I'm here with Reverend Corey Schul, and we're here talking about the 2020 census, and having the faith-based community involved with this is so important. Why?
It is important because the faith-based community touches people in some of the most intimate points in their lives, and we also, because of that, understand the needs that individuals have and that families have, and the census. The reason why it's important that Black people especially completed comprehensively is because it determines the amount of funding that will enter our communities. It determines the monies allotted for our school system. It determines how our roads will be fixed and the types of resources that are earmarked for each community. And so it's critical that faith communities be a part of encouraging their congregants to be a part of this process.
Well, you can see why the 2020 census is so important. It's vital information, gives us a better count of actually who's here in the United States legally.
It's capturing what's going on in the households. For me, because I do some dabbling with Ancestry.com and my family history, being able to find out records for what the census had portrayed helped out a lot.
You are correct. We'll take another break and back with more right after this.
When people think of youth violence, they always think of those kids hurting each other.
But violence against our youth is a lot of things.
Concentrated poverty is violence.
Making assumptions about black youth is also violence.
Having the police caught on you for just existing is violence.
As you can see, youth violence can be a lot of things. Help us prevent it. Now that's something we all can get animated about. Join the conversation at pridepeaceprevention.org.
Come on, Louisville, let's get animated.
Louisville was good. B96.5. Your man Nick Cannon is in the building and we taking over. We gonna be wilding every morning. About to have some fun, y'all. Let's go up. Press another move.
Locking in to the Nick Cannon Morning Show, 6 to 10 on B96.5.
As you know, every month we do a segment with MSD, and of course they have done a fantastic job of keeping us aware of different things that are happening that can affect our daily lives.
It's no surprise to me the extra steps that they've gone through in regards to what we're dealing with now socially with the COVID-19 pandemic.
You are correct. And because of that, instead of us being there with Tony Parrott, hey, Tony, how are you? We're going to him virtually today. So, Tony, welcome. Good to see you again, at least virtually. So tell us what's going on and how are you personally handling what's happening out there with the COVID-19?
Well, Max, as you know, COVID-19 is an unprecedented matter that all of us are dealing with, not only at MSD, but in our entire community, in our entire country. It is really something that has required us to really take a pause and figure out, how we can do things differently, first and foremost, to make sure that we're not only protecting our employees, but protecting the community that we all live, work, and play in. And it is something that I think is going to probably impact us for several months going forward and probably change the way we do business going forward.
Tony, I'm glad you're being safe. Now, another question is, during these kind of emergencies, the general public is always concerned. They want to know, are things going to change in relationship to their service, just how things are going to continue to function. Can you help us with that?
Well, COVID-19, as I mentioned, is something that's causing us to look at how we provide services to the community. And first and foremost, we want to make sure that we're protecting the workers in our workplace. MSD is a essential business that must respond and provide wastewater, stormwater, and flood protection services to the community. So first and foremost, we're trying to make sure that we're protecting our employees. And then secondly, taking a look at those services that are vital to the communities that we serve. And I can tell you that we are committed to continue providing services. There are going to be probably some changes during the interim. For example, we are limiting the amount of customer interface we have at our main office for permits and those type of things. But for those that are calling us with issues such as sewer backups or blockages, those type of things, we must respond, and we will. But as we go forward, it's hard to predict how long this thing will stretch out. So we'll be monitoring it daily and weekly and try to keep the major assets that we're responsible for working for the community.
Tony, something else that we're curious about is What type of feedback are you hearing from the general public as it relates to your response to the pandemic?
Well, I think the general public is probably not seeing much of a difference in the services that we provide. We get a lot of calls about the status of their bills and whether or not there's going to be turnoffs or new late fees assessed for those folks that are laid off and can't pay their utility bill. One of the things we've told our customers is there will be no turn-offs of services during this pandemic, and there will be no new late fees assessed to their accounts, and try to give them advice on how they can tap some programs that we have in place to help them pay their bill, whether it be our senior citizen discount program for wastewater bills, or through the Community Ministries Association, which is a group we donate to via the Louisville Water Foundation, to help those folks that are experiencing hardships in paying their bill. So for that information, folks can contact us and we can make sure that they are put in touch with the right person.
That's great information. And based on everything that you said, it seems like that we've just got to be prepared to face things a little bit differently. So what's MSD's plan as it relates to the future?
Well, it's something that we're evaluating day by day and week by week. We're actually learning some things, hopefully, about ourselves that we can be more nimble and more flexible and more virtual. As I mentioned, we're doing a lot of telework, which means a lot of the meetings that we're having are either through teleconferencing or Zoom or some of the other video conferencing apps that are out there. We're having our board meeting, for example, last week was a virtual board meeting. All of our internal meetings are either through telework or teleconferencing, video conferencing, and we're doing everything we can to practice the social distancing that is necessary to fight COVID-19. As we go forward, there may be practices, particularly with some of the electronic things that we're doing and being able to serve the customers, particularly with things that normally would be handled through paperwork and those type of things. We're learning that we can do things by electronic signature and other stuff that will enhance our ability to provide service to the customers in the future.
Tony, I have to admit, I never thought we would be at the point where we'd be so concerned about loss of toilet paper or paper towels or any other kind of paper products. So is there any concern from you all's end on paper products and what we should be doing?
Well, one of the things that we've always practiced is that we encourage people to flush the 3 Ps, and that would be pee, poo, and paper. And in this instance, it would be toilet paper. And we strongly encourage folks not to flush wipes, baby wipes, the things that say they're flushable wipes, paper towels. All those type of things really can wreak havoc on the internal plumbing of the customer's home and will necessitate them calling MSD or having to expend a lot of money with a private plumber to fix problems on private properties. So we encourage folks that do not flush paper towels, do not flush flushable wipes, and do not flush baby wipes, etc., because it will come back to haunt you.
Well, Tony, as always, it's great spending time with you, and this is that time we would normally be shaking hands, but since you're virtual, you're there and I'm here, we have to do the first virtual Urban Lifestyles fist bump. So take care, and thanks for joining us on Urban Lifestyles.
All right, Max, thank you for having us again on Urban Lifestyles. And to the community, just know that MSD is here, and we are working, and we will make sure that we provide this vital services to the community. So until then, everyone keep the faith, be safe, And let's practice social distancing, and let's fight and win COVID-19.
We'll take another break and back with more right after this.
Max and Denise for having me. It's your favorite girl, Bella Ray, in the afternoon on B96.5, of course, as we are social distancing. And some of us are working from home, like I'm supposed to be at home, but I had to come into work to do a lot of things. I was going to say some things, but I do a lot of things. But I wanted to make sure I told you all about that Nick Cannon Cash Blast. $1,000 a day could be yours. Just make sure you're listening to B96.5 starting on Monday, April 6th. What happens? You get 18 keywords, $18,000 keywords to be exact. Once you get those keywords, head over to hiphopb965.com. Enter in those keywords, okay? Because the more keywords that you have a day, it betters your chances on getting that $1,000 that you need to have. You deserve it. We've been working from home, honey, or maybe you were laid off. We got you. And of course, how much do you love your mama? $1,000 could be hers as well, as long as you enter at hiphopb965.com for that Mother's Day money, okay? And of course, don't forget you can always stream us live. I know some of you are not in your cars as much, but definitely stream us live at hiphopb965.com. And as well, go ahead. If you got Alexa at home, say, Alexa, can you stream B96.5? She knows exactly what to do, okay? But of course, that's me, your favorite girl, Miss Bella Ray. Max and Denise, it's back to you.
You know, this coronavirus has really taken effect on everybody, regardless if you're young or old.
Yep.
One thing that you do is you get bored, you get tired of sitting in the house, and you try to find different things that you can do to entertain yourself.
Yeah, and staying in touch with friends and loved ones. And as you all know, our daughters live out of town. And we're supposed to be practicing social distancing. Now, I'm going to have to put it out there for real. Max and I are doing social distancing here in the house.
This
He's
is correct.
Downstairs and I'm upstairs, and we sometimes communicate through text.
That's right. And we have a floor in between us, which makes it all worthwhile.
Yes.
But, you know, there are a lot of things that you can do to have fun. And one thing that we do is we like to reach out to Courtney and Tyler. And they're joining us from Atlanta. So what's going on down in the ATL?
Not too much. We're practicing social distancing as well from each other. I'm at my house and she is at hers.
Yep, but we have the same guidelines and practices. Ours are probably a bit more strict given our metropolitan size. But social distancing, staying active, getting some fresh air, not with a lot of people. And, you know, I've encouraged my friends to read a book or do something productive, do a puzzle. Like there's other things to do other than being out and going to lounges. So I actually enjoy it.
Yeah, and I heard, I just got a text from you earlier today, Courtney, you were talking about that you all are shutting down the liquor stores tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So I know there's going to be a revolution in the ATL.
That is not true. Yeah, that was also part of trying to ways to get through this quarantine with a little fun and jokes. So that was something that was passed on my group text, and one of my good girlfriends literally read that and left the house immediately. We had to tell her, hold on, it wasn't real.
Because if somebody had a heart condition, that right there would send them off. I hate to say maybe into a cardiac arrest, because if you can't have some type of liquor or something to, you know, get you feeling nice.
Yeah, something to help you relax. And something that we've been doing between the four of us is talking about different movies. And some of the things that we've been watching are things like Uncorked.
Yes, Uncorked was good on Netflix. Self-Made, The Life About Madam C.J. Walker. Also, what are some others?
We've been watching Tiger Time, which is another one, which is a crazy series that's out there. There's just a ton of great movies that are there. Spencer's good. And one of my favorite binge things that I like to watch is Dr. Pimple Popper. But I'm all alone on that. I can't get anybody else in the house to watch that. But that is a great show.
But see, that's just to keep me upset, and so here we are having chaos in the house. It's enough that I'm already wanting to choke him, and then he does something like that. But that's his pleasure.
Yeah, but I love Dr. Pimple Popper. And then, of course, we're playing games. We got our karaoke mics, so we have mic challenges. Sometimes I'm Frankie Beverly.
Thanks to you all's Christmas gift.
Sometimes she's Beyonce or Tina Turner. So we do that with our karaoke mics. We've got ping pong. We go for walks. We go for rides in the car. And then when we get really board, we call you all.
And at least you are keeping us up on something new. You're doing meal preps, Courtney?
Yes. Meal preps. Like on Sundays, cook two meals, enough to be for like lunch and dinner to get through the week.
And Tyler, how about you?
I mean, nothing has really changed for me. I still buy the same groceries. The grocery stores are still open.
Are they packed?
And yes. And I don't know. I really am not having so much of an adjustment like some people are having to. I still have to work, so my telework isn't really a staycation. I'm working every day, all day long, and looking forward to the weekends like I used to before COVID happened.
I hope that means responsibly, because I know you all are millennials and you all take things a little bit different. Is that fair to say?
Well, I'm being responsible with my health, so
looking
forward to the weekend means I'm looking forward to relaxing.
Oh, okay.
Well, very good. Well, good. Well, I know you all have got stuff to do, but thanks for joining us. And you know what I think we should do now?
What?
We should take a quick break, and we'll be back with more of Urban Lifestyles right after this.
Is more than just getting from one place to another. It's healthy, social, good for the environment, and anyone can do it. We at Middletown love cycling and really love helping others discover a new passion. Stop in today and let our friendly, knowledgeable staff help you get started. We cater to beginners as well as experienced cyclists. We're a local business that cares about our community because we are a part of the community. Come in today and get on a bicycle that fits your needs and improve your lifestyle.
We're out at Middletown Cycling with the owner, Ross Horsley. And one of the things that you think about, why are we in a bike shop in the winter? Because it's the best time to be here. First of all, you can find some great deals. Secondly, if you already own a bike, what you should be doing is getting it prepared for the great weather that's coming. And that's taking your bike in for a winter check?
Like a tune-up, a check, and actually, this time of year we have a lot more time to dedicate to each individual repair. I mean, we're always going to do a good job, but now, if you wanted to sit down and talk about your cycling goals, maybe some parts you could change out, when it's not as hectic, you can just get a lot more personal attention. And as soon as the first hot day comes, everybody will bring their bike in and there'll be a line. So it's just kind of nice. It's like going to cutting line, getting a fast pass at Disney,
So, I got my bike out a couple of weeks ago because we hit 71 degrees. And, of course, the next day it dropped to 35. Then we had rain and then possibilities of snow. But when you're bringing your bike in for those checkups, what are some of the things that we should be looking for?
Well, I think a lot of people, obviously you need to keep your tires pumped up if that's something you should do at home. But what happens over the course of a year, a lot of times the wheels will get out of true. Wheels are more or less a suspension bridge, so the spokes are under tension, so that needs to be checked. A lot of times brake pads wear out. And over the course of time, cables can wear, and there's just things you need to pay attention to, and it's much less expensive if you kind of stay on top of that thing versus bringing your bike in shambles, and you can also wear certain items out prematurely if you don't pay attention to them and take care of them as it goes, type of thing.
And as you said, it's a lot like taking care of a car. So when you're talking about doing upgrades in the off season, a lot of times we think, well, I've got wheels on my bike, so I'm good. But there are a lot of different ranges as it relates to wheels. So what does that look like for the average weekend rider?
Well, it could be something as simple as maybe you don't have enough gears for the hill and you could change your rear cassette to get a better climbing gear. Or it could be something as kind of exciting as getting zip wheels, some carbon fiber wheels, or maybe even a carbon fiber handlebar. Also, it's not just a good time of year to get your bike fixed. There's some really good deals to be had in the winter, and we take trade-ins. So a lot of times, when people start thinking about fixing up their old bike, they don't realize how affordable it would be to kind of get into their dream bike, so to speak. And, this time of year, we're making dreams come a reality.
As we were talking before about repairs, and now we're talking about, getting a bike as you're getting ready for the warm weather to come. But buying a bike is a lot like buying a car. You catch one at the end of the season before the new ones come out, you can save a lot of money.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things I really try to do, because most of my customers would much rather save a lot of money and have maybe a different color than get the one that says 2020 on it or whatever. So, like, we have these bikes here, they're almost all of them are almost 20% off. So when you're comparing a lot of the bikes that we have on sale, most bikes like this are going to be over $1,700, $1,800, and we have them on sale for $1,199. And especially when you're talking about repairing a mountain bike, for example, sometimes you get into bleeding the brakes and doing that thing. You might spend several $100s on a repair, and by the time you're going to spend all that money, you'd be well on your way to getting something that's really going to suit your needs better. Maybe a full suspension, maybe a better hardtail, or even some of the hybrids over there. And it really is, like I said, it's not the greatest time of year to ride them, but there's some real opportunities to be had as far as getting ready for the next season, so to speak.
And to talk to those people who are just now beginning to get into bikes and they're not necessarily, up to speed on the difference between a road bike, a mountain bike, a cross trainer, tell us the difference.
Well, you have your mountain bike where they're going to have these larger tires. They're really going to be made for all-terrain type of riding, like you'd go to Turkey Run or some of the trails at Cherokee. And then you have like bike path bikes where you would look over this way. And these are going to have the higher pressure tires and are actually very versatile bikes. You could still do some gravel and dirt, but wouldn't be really made for roots and rocks. And that's what a lot of people like to get started with. We actually sell, believe it or not, a lot of bikes to the missionaries, and we found that these hybrids are the best because they're very durable, they're good for daily use, and the disc brakes are great if you're going to ride in the rain. And one of the things that's always been so important to me in my life is getting a good value, and like I buy the bikes so that we can really pass values onto the customer that you're really not going to be able to find anywhere else. So it's just very important to me, and we're going to have definitely the best deals this time of year.
And the last, of course, category is the road bike.
The road bike, yeah. Road bikes are always fun. One of the things that's really changed about road bikes over the last couple of years is a lot of disc brakes, and they call them gravel bikes. So this bike would have some of the traditional things you would think of as a hybrid, but it can have more of the road bike componentry. So, bikes change dramatically. The materials, the way that they're used, the parts are changing, and I really think they're progressing rapidly. So, even if you don't want to buy a bike, this time of year, you can come, hang out, ride them if it's nice out and everything, and really kind of find out what you don't know. And, maybe you're happy with your equipment, or maybe there's something that kind of catches your eye,
That's what it's all about, making sure that you've got the right bike for the style of riding that you're going to do. As always, Ross, we always get a ton of information from you. And if people want to find out more about Middletown Cycling, how do they get in touch?
Well, we have an active Facebook page, and then you go to middletowncycling.com. We're really doing a better job of having some e-commerce there. We're really easy to find. If you Google Middletown Cycling, we'll be there. I'm really trying to grow my YouTube channel, so if anybody wants to go on there and follow that, I'd really appreciate that. Trying to get to 1,000, so that'd be nice.
Even though the virus is affecting everybody, I think we had another great show today.
Yes, we did, and just to be socially conscious and trying for me to keep from killing him.
Yeah, and I think the main thing we have to make sure that we do is, as she said, be socially conscious and make smart decisions. You know what? I think that's our show.
Ooh, that's our time.
And we'll see you back here next time on Urban Lifestyles.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe. Be prudent.
Stay safe.